Good morning, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Irons channel. It's the final word show. I hope everyone is doing good and looking forward to the start of a week where football is concerned, where West Ham United is concerned. I hope I was as positive for that, but it's not. It's not. It's kind of. I think yesterday it's kind of hit a peak. And I am always honest, and I will unashamedly say that the only positivity from the back of yesterday's performance and result is that probably is the end of David Moyes, I think. I mean, when he came in, I wanted him in because I thought the experience he had and the way of setting up and defending and organisation is what we needed when we were at the bottom when he came in. The other manager was Eddie Howe, who I thought was a bit too young, inexperienced to come in at that stage. So that was kind of, I was proved right. And then since last season's October away Chelsea 2-1 defeat, where we were 1-0 up due to Antonio's fairly lucky goal, and then he does two defensive subs in the second half. We lose 2-1, and that was it for me. That was it for me. I wanted him gone. That's not West Ham football. It's not positive football. And I don't care what TalkSport says or the media or anything like that. I know what West Ham's about, and it's not about that. And then by hook or crook, we won a trophy last season, which was great. We finished 13th, 14th in the league. We're about 8th in the league at the moment, but you mustn't forget that the conference trophy is a freak trophy where it's a new trophy. And yeah, I think as an example, I think Villa should win it. We won it last season. The Premiership is the richest league in the world by far, and in the tournaments that's kind of showing, apart from maybe two clubs, 2-3 clubs at the most outside of Premiership. It's largely dominated by British teams due to the money, the squad, the wealth we've got, the quality of the players we've got, really. But we won the conference, and the quality of the league is historically pretty mixed and pretty poor, really. That's why, I mean, our form's been pretty down. More down than up since January, but we still 7th or 8th, largely due to the quality of the teams from 9th downwards. They're not consistent. We're not consistent, but we're the top of that kind of pack. But we've played a couple more games than clubs around us. So really, before I go into sort of yesterday's game, January the 1st, we were comfortably 6th. Maybe even a 5-point gap above teams like Newcastle, certainly more point gap over Chelsea, looking really comfortable. And I thought all he needs to do, like I said, is buy a few players in the window and we'll be really comfortably in Europe due to our league form, because you can't always win fucking European trophies every year. But his downfall is due to the one biggest word I was thinking this morning. It's stubbornness. David Moyes is stubborn. By hook or crook, some of his ways have worked. Like I said, we've been comfortably in the top 10 since he came in. Not really anywhere in danger of going down. Last season finished 14th, but we managed to win enough, towards the end, and we were okay in the end. Good bunch of lads. They kind of, whatever he tells them, they go out there and carry out the instructions, which I find mind-boggling, but that's another argument. And he's just driven these players into the ground, and he does the hard things really, really well. But when he's had money, he's had more money than any manager before, more backing than any manager before, right? And even help in terms of quite a good scouting team than other managers have had under West Ham, and even Tim Stein, one of the world or Europe's best at recruitment, even his help. And I'm sure people like Kudos, Alvarez, Mavropanos, for all his sort of misgivings, have come in largely under him. But all that help, and he's just made every transfer window painful. Don't forget, in the summer, after Rice was sold, and that went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? We only began to sign players with about 2 weeks left, 2-3 weeks left out the window. And we're with panic stations as Tim Stein falling out with David Moyes. What's going on? So every window there's drama. The money's been there, right? That's not an issue, but it's such drama that we just don't want to buy. We're so slow out the traps buying players. Negotiations are painfully long, and then we panic and buy so many players of the week to go that you often think, whose players are they? Were they really on your list when the window opened? It's just always doing things the wrong way around as a club and making things more difficult for us. Don't forget, in the last 4 windows at least, we've been recruiting where we've been in Europe. When we first went into Europa, I think Arsenal weren't in Europe. I think Tottenham were largely not in Europe. Villa were definitely not in Europe. Newcastle were definitely not in Europe. We had an advantage over these clubs in recruitment. And I remember 1 or 2 windows, we fucking hardly bought anyone, right? So when we've had the money, we've had the ability to tell players that we're in Europe, come to us, we've still fucked it up. And now you can see Villa are more or less catching up with us or going ahead of us. Newcastle are going to be much ahead of us year on year out due to the money clout. Chelsea, Man United, they're not going to be piss poor for long. Sooner or later, they're going to crack it. And that little window we had of doing a little bit better, just being about ambitious. Yeah, I'm happy to be 8th or 7th, like the media said. I want more. Because our manager's been in charge longer than their clubs. He's had more windows than them. And all we needed was 3-4 good players, right? And I know that sounds like a lot of numbers, but I'm only saying that because we've let Fornells go, we've let Ben Rama go, we lost a good few amount of players in the kind of the summer windows and winter windows, like I said. Because we've got a reasonably okay 10, 9, 10, 11, haven't we, right? But it's a long season, and now it's going to be tools down for the rest of the season now. And I'm so glad I haven't got season ticket anymore. I've made up my mind. I'm not going Thursday. I'm not going to go to that game. Fuck off. I'm not going to go. I'm going to give it to someone who hasn't been and shit. Like I'm not going to go. Didn't want to go yesterday either. And yeah, my son goes. He's got season ticket, and my other kids go down again. I've had enough, mate. And it's never been about winning. We haven't won a lot compared to other clubs. We don't support West Ham because of that, right? We want to play good football, and we're fed up with this. You know, I hope George Murphy's okay. And the latest we heard was I think he suffered from a broken nose, concussion, and hopefully he's making good progress. If you look at the ratings, everyone, he's got the highest ratings out of all the players on the major newspapers and media outlets. So, and you could see when he came on, he was zippy, moving around, trying to go into space, make things happen, wanted the ball. He changed a lot of things, you know, so I hope he's doing good. That's kind of what we want. The other thing was David Moyes' comments. Very different from Silva's comments, and Silva's one I would consider to interview. Not saying he'll get the job, he's the ideal solution, but I would definitely interview him if possible. I love the way he plays football. He's got good Premiership experience. Of course, there's been some seasons where he's got the sack at other clubs. Of course, you're going to get that, aren't they? You can't always do it year in, year out, but I like a guy who picks himself up and relatively has done, you know, more than good at a club like Fulham stature with respect. He's done all right, well-coached team, players like it. I love their football, right? And it's London down the road, and I'm sure he'll want to speak to us about that. But David Moyes comments, he thinks that West Ham yesterday controlled the game for large amounts of the period and they deserve more than that. Absolute weird. And Silva's like, yeah, first 10 minutes West Ham looked good. Antonio missed that chance, but I think we did enough to win. And Moyes' comments are just fucking hilarious. And yesterday, I think, Sunday kickoffs are bad anyway, but when the fans needed a lift, especially on the back of his negative tactics at Bayer Leverkusen and other games as well, it's just, I think it's peaked yesterday now, and I think most fans gotta be happy with him gone now. I think. We don't want anyone to lose their jobs, but my God, the atmosphere amongst the fans was record level of low noise. I think hardly anything, and I've had a lot of comments from a lot of you viewers. So thanks for your comments. I will be replying this morning to those saying there's periods in the game. It was a library silence, absolutely quiet regarding that. And just a few things like I always moan about. Antonio, third minute, what an atrocious miss. And he's been put through one-on-one in enough games, and I've known he's not going to score. You know, we tried to put him and Danny Ings together yesterday, and They were miles apart of each other. There's no chemistry. Antonio went by default, followed his mind and DNA and habits, and ended up on the wing. And Ings was frustrated on it by himself in the middle. There's no idea of any coaching this team. There's no discipline in what you're meant to do, you know. And on the touchline, David Moyes cut a very like a dead figure. Really, he had no enthusiasm about him. There's no urgency, no waving of the hands, no being angry. Fuck all. Just stood there, his jumper on, nothing, absolutely nothing. You saw Silva numerous times put his arm around his players, do lots of motivation, finger pointing, tactical, trying to shout. Nothing from Moyes, mate. Absolutely nothing. Paqueta. If I had to lose one of Kudos, Paqueta, Bowen, it'll be Paqueta. You know, he lost the ball in important positions numerous times yesterday. He's a bit of a maverick. We like mavericks, I get that, but I think he's gone anyway, and I'll be all right with that. The club's always bigger than any player. I think he lost the ball leading up to their first goal and a couple of other things. He's not good at winning it back sometimes. Gets booked nearly every game. We can't afford to have Paqueta and Alvarez in the same team. They're getting booked every single game. And he wants to probably go. That's fine. That's what Brazilian, North and South American players largely go after, the money. I get that. I get that. Trophy fee. I don't want to be that nasty. But get 85 million for him. That kind of fee kicks in the summer. And let's see what we can do with it. Get a new manager in. But I don't want the board getting lazy, because this is the second summer we're going to be getting good amount of money for our star player. So I want their own money. That, you know, we never used to have these players like Rice or Paqueta to sell. Then the club always found 60, 50, 60, 70 million or whatever. I want that 50, 60 on top of the 85 and give that new manager 150 million. We need one or two strikers up front. We need a winger. We need to replace Paqueta. It's an aging back four. There's lots to do, and that just tells you how badly David Moyes has managed the transfer windows and the squad. He's leaving behind the second oldest team in the league. It's the poorest in terms of numbers. There's a non-existent bench, a non-existent squad. This is what he's done when he's had the backing of the club, the fans, a record amount of money given to him. He's fucking pissed it down, right? And thank God that somehow Kudos, Boeing, Paqueta, Alvarez, they've kind of looked good. But don't forget the Hala, don't forget Skamaka, Vlasic, mismanagement of Cornet, all these people. A good 33 million, mismanagement of him, Mavropanos. Just when I think he might be all right, he fucking fucks up again, doesn't he? And I know he was injured. I give him that, right? So lots of issues around the club, and the new manager will have his work cut out, really. And that goes back to Cornet, isn't it? Treated absolutely. When he came in, I was so excited. You know that, follow my channels. I got a lot of time for Cornet. He's exciting. He makes things happen. He had a couple of brilliant seasons at Burnley. Really happy, but you can tell he's not David Moyes' signing. He's just too exciting as a player for David Moyes, and he's treated that human being like shit. Absolutely shit, really. The other thing is, obviously, this is probably the only one of the few games where we had more possession. We had 58% possession against the 42. But it didn't make any difference. We looked worse than any other game, really. And that goes back to Leverkusen. I mean, just didn't give it a go in the first leg, sorry. Just waiting. And yeah, the subs are just so slow from him. The setup's always wrong. Even if the setup is wrong, he rarely knows how to fix it. He's never done anything apart from that same formation, same way of playing. And it's just bored the pants out of me. And I'll be really, really happy, because my enthusiasm, excitement for West Ham has just dwindled week by week. It's just got to a point where I don't want to go. I've had tickets and I don't want to go. I've got a ticket for Thursday. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. No way. Not spending my hard-earned money and journey. And it's a difficult journey, 1 or 2 hours to get there back. I don't even like the ground anyway. I don't like anything around it. It's fucking ghost town for me, right? And I know for European nights it's different, but if only we had a manager that was exciting to look at on the touchline, coached us in the right way, played football in the right way. That's all we want. That place would be rocking, and I would be very, very happy to go and watch West Ham and back them. And it's all gone. My enthusiasm is gone. It's gone. And when he goes, okay, we'll worry about who comes in afterwards, and just hope Sullivan and Tim Steiten make the right decision and we back that person. But for now, no. It's got that bad. when he goes, I'm not even sure I'm going to thank you for the European Conference Trophy. Once I fall out with someone, I fall out with them, and I've got no time for him. If I see him down the road, I don't know what the fuck, I'd probably just walk past him. I don't know. It's a really bad thing for me to say, really. But the final word for me is that I think this is the game that David Moyes, he's not going to get any contracts. So I'm happy about that. But it's kind of peaked. That was a really worst game, worst atmosphere, worst application from the players. And it's stubbornness, mismanagement of transfer windows. Those are the two main things why Moyes, he had a good job here. He had a job here for life. He could have gone upstairs, but he's just so stubborn. He just won't change his ways. And all he had to do in the window was, like I said, buy a striker to complement the three good players we already had and Alvarez behind them, and then a youngster to help out in the back four. As you know, we need that now. And we would have been all right, and we would have probably nicked a European spot, right? But no, didn't want to buy anyone. Bought Calvin Phillips. You fucking all know what's gone wrong with that. Absolute fucked. And players are getting injured. They're playing with injuries. No one's happy. Fucking hell, mate. That's it from me. Don't forget tonight, on the show live at 8 p.m. is the charity West Ham memorabilia auction, largely run by Peter Singh. It's his lifelong West Ham collection. He runs a charity looking after abandoned, injured animals in Portugal. This is one of 2 or 3 auctions we're going to do, so please log in at 8 p.m, put your money in the chat, and then hopefully you'll win one of the great items he's got. We did do a pre-auction show last week where we described the items that are going to be going live tonight, so have a look at that show and then get ready to bid in the chat as we go live closer to 8 p.m. tonight, really. Apart from that, that's it. I'm going to get on with my day now and put tomorrow's result behind me, but just wanted to get this video out there early that, yeah, had enough of him. Take care, everyone. Come on, you irons.